Hey everyone, thank you for waiting so patiently for me to read these charts. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ over here. This is the NASDAQ futures, and this is one of the key levels I'm looking at right now. Let's take a look at the level on QQQ. The level is right around $360 US on QQQ. Now we have a little bit of a lower high that looks to be being set here because after this rebound right here, thus far, we're getting a red day tomorrow. So it looks like we're setting a lower high. The question is, will we break this support level and set a lower low? And if that happens, that could at least be a temporary red flag. There's also the possibility that it breaks this level and actually ends up being a good time to buy. So you do want to watch for any lower wicks of buying the dip. You want to take a look at the volume, whether there's a spike at the low and whatnot, and whether it rebounds from that volume and leaves any shorts and stuff in the red. You want to keep an eye on that. You can bottom fish around this area with a stop loss below to enter a trade at a fairly low risk scenario tomorrow. And there is that volume spike at that level. So there is a clear support area over here. A lot of money bought in on this dip. Can that support hold? And if not, the next supports that we are looking at, if it does hold below and it's not a fake out, is that 352 on QQQ. Take a look on the weekly. Last week's low, that's 352 as well. And then we could be looking at this previous resistance area as a potential target as well if the 352 breaks. But there's no signs of that happening as of yet. Taking a look at the futures, the Dow Jones still looks fairly healthy. This is an interesting pattern. It's been in this range for a while, in this up and down, and it seems like there's these periods of this panic, and they've been getting bought up. But, you look back several months, all the way, since May, and the market hasn't made a newer high, the Dow Jones, not by much anyways. Like, it has, but by very little. It's holding right around that area. Is this a bull flag or is this distribution? That's the question over here. A break of this range could be the signal, the first signals of the direction, whether we get a break upwards and break up towards that upper Bollinger Band, or break lower and potentially head to test that 50-day moving average on the Dow Jones. The NASDAQ, bulls looking for a double bottom off of this area. It's getting fairly close in the futures. Bulls are holding that 20 EMA thus far. They're working and fighting around that middle Bollinger Band with the bears. We are riding below that red line right now, so showing some weakness in the short term. We did get a bearish MACD cross a few weeks ago, and we haven't gotten a bullish one yet. So we've set a higher high without the momentum behind it. And thus far, we're declining on fairly low volume. And we had that volume spike yesterday, but now, it's 2 candles ago. That volume spike could be a little bit of a concern. So what I would look for is potentially look for a bounce off of this area. And if it does break that area, you could enter with a low risk stop loss below that area. And then you can watch if it does break, you can see if it's a fake out or not, if the bulls are able to bring it back above and close above it by the end of the day. You don't want to rush into any positions in that case. If it does break it, you'd want to look for a close above it to trap any bears that went short on that move in the red. But if that did happen, that would be a little bit of a red flag, because that would be the first little bit of a lower high and lower low all the way back since this time back here in May, where you see you had low, high, lower low, lower high, lower low, etc. Whereas over here, we've been uptrending for a while. You have a low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, and just steady higher lows and higher highs until this big drop, which was in July. There's this decent sized pullback. It broke that support level, but it never set a lower high and then a lower low. So the trend didn't change. It was a fake out in this case. So we're seeing if the bulls can hold this area over here. That's what we're looking at when it comes to the NASDAQ in Dow Jones as of now. Let's take a look at the Chinese index, Hang Seng, Hong Kong, and you can clearly see it's been downtrending for a while. It had kind of a bearish head and shoulders up here if you take a look at that. And, you know, a technical analyst, somebody who's looking at this, would have probably seen this as distribution and would have saw red flags over here with this bearish head and shoulders, and with also this break of this clear support level down here, because that's when it really flushed down. It was kind of a fake out on this bearish head and shoulders, and then there was distribution before it dumped over here on the Hang Seng. It did get oversold. We got a bounce right now. I can't see the volume, so I might not be looking at the right ticker over here, but I can't see the volume, and for that reason, you know, that the volume is one of the biggest information pieces that I look at, so it's kind of hard to gauge without the volume over here. But right now, we're seeing thus far some weakness in the overnight in the Hang Seng. I wouldn't be surprised we get more of a pullback over here. This move, the fact that there's this lower wick that, you know, there was a sell-off and then buying at the dip, you know, that can actually be seen as a negative thing because it showed some weakness. It showed some fear still, and that could potentially return today. So that's what's going on when we take a look at the Hang Seng. There's no clear signs of a reversal yet. There is a clear support level. We could draw a line over here. We're seeing a pretty clear support level there. It didn't get oversold yet on the weekly. It's been in this range for a long time. You go back, and it hasn't set a newer high since 2018. And that 2018 high, it's still less than what it was in 2008, the Hang Seng over here. But if you do look at this longer term trend, the overall trend has been up. And this is a pretty good increase if you go all the way back. You know, so there's maybe some turbulence here, but eventually I think the Hang Seng will head higher. I do think there is value in China, or there's going to be at some point. Anyways, I don't want to get too into that. Overall, look at the QQQ, NASDAQ. Just absolute fire the last 13 years. Look at that. That is all bull. And you see, you look back, you can see low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Steady on the monthly chart over here. Okay, fake out over there. Double bottom. Fake out here. New support. Again, another fake out on the coronavirus dip. But it never changed the trend. The monthly trend never changed on the NASDAQ all the way since 2009. It was higher lows and higher highs on an uptrend. It never set a lower high than a lower low on the monthly all the way since 2009. So long as that stays that way, we are still in a bull market. Now you want to watch short-term signs for weakness to see if the trend changes on the daily. We might have some more room to work with, because if we break this support, we could head to that next support down here. So bulls still have room to work with to keep us healthy on the NASDAQ. So right now, there's no signs of like a market crash or anything as of yet. Okay, so unless we get some random flush down, but as of now, there's not too much concerns as far as I could see. But I wouldn't be surprised if the bears get the upper hand in the coming days or weeks. So let's keep an eye out for that. And I'm going to end this video here. Sorry for making it longer than I needed to. But thanks for watching, guys. And please press that like button, check out my site, and check out my Instagram. Thank you.